BUS101 students, Instructor Robertson here, and I am looking through the rest of our course and trying to make sure that we are covering all our bases. We are coming down to the end of the term, so well done. I know I'm missing a few homeworks from a few folks, and just try to get those into me as soon as possible so that you can get some points on the board for those. I have your midterms graded, but I don't have them up yet. So I will try to get caught up with grades. If you are sending me everything and you are getting responses from me, and you're getting your homework in on time, make sure, or if your homework's in on time and you're getting responses back from me, that means that you were doing great in the homework realm. It's kind of open-ended, some of those questions that you're seeing in the homework. And just a reminder that the final will be comprehensive and worth a little bit more than our midterm. So I will work on getting all of those grades up for you. You will always feel free to email me or text me if you would like to discuss your grades or discuss anything about the class. This week we are going to be starting into chapters 11 and 12. And so now we are working on one of my favorite parts, right? We're talking about marketing a business. And for chapter 11, what are customers looking for, right? We've all been to a business where, you're thinking about a product or a service and you're thinking, this is pretty good, but it could be a little bit better. And these are the things that would help me as the customer, right? And that leads to our discussion question this week. So we do have a discussion question this week, which I will go over here in a minute, that I have posted up there for you, that I want you to think about something fun, right? Because business is all around us. And as business students, right, we already have that lens of being a consumer. And so we know what we want as a consumer. And from the flip side, right, our business is meeting our needs. And if we are planning on starting a business or working for a business, is your employer or is the business that you're starting meeting customer needs? Because you won't have a business if you aren't meeting customer needs, right? Customers won't come. That's that self-balancing of the markets. Anyway, so 11 and 12 starts talking about the 4 Ps, product and promotion. So the 4 Ps, product, promotion, price, and placement, which this text, one of the only things about this text that I don't necessarily agree with is they call it distribution, but it really is placement. So the 4 Ps, so you can remember what the marketing mix is. Chapter 12 starts in on those, product and promotion, right? What are some of the things going on with the product and how do you promote your product? And then next week we will talk a little bit about pricing and placement. Where's the product found, or distribution? So this week though, 11 and 12, marketing the business. So take a look at those in the text. So you're going to want to read through those, flip through the PowerPoints, and then there are homework questions for each. I believe they're a little bit longer. Just try your best. I think I have 5 for each 11 and 12 questions, and you can write right on there. If you're having difficulty either getting that to me for some reason, or you want to print it out and scan it and send it to me, or print it out, you can take a picture of it with your phone as long as they can read it and you get it to me on time. Those are the key elements that we're looking for. So the discussion this week, let me just pop over to discussion. Hopefully you can still see me. Okay, so in the discussion board, again, should be fun. Get you thinking about, your own consumer behavior and also thinking about the businesses that are in your community. All right, so pick your favorite product. For instance, a bakery that you visit, right? A car that you drive, maybe you really like your car, local band that you love to see, a coffee shop, a restaurant, a place that you visit that you like what they have to offer. Maybe you like Splash Lagoon, right? Maybe you like indoor water parks, whatever it might be. And maybe you travel and you have a certain hotel chain that you particularly like, whatever, something that you have in your life. And so think about the features of this product. So if you pick a bakery, maybe there is a certain type of good, maybe you really like a certain glazed donut from a certain bakery, right? And so think about the features of the product, the things that make that the best glazed donut. And you go to that bakery specifically for that glazed donut. Features of the product, benefits associated with the features. So, think about maybe it's the glaze on it. Maybe it's the way the donut is baked. Maybe it's how it's presented. Maybe there's certain flavor in it, whatever it might be. Maybe it's the texture. Maybe it's the size, whatever it is. the shape. Maybe it's a twist donut instead of round. All of those things, right, that make you buy that donut and go to that bakery versus going somewhere else. And so from a customer standpoint, right, so think about some things that might make, and a donut's pretty simplistic, but it's okay. Let's think about a couple things, 2 to 3 more product features that maybe you would offer, right, to a customer. And so think about if you were to go in there and as a customer, you were to comment and say, this is what I think would even make it better. And so that's what I'm looking for. Think about something that you already kind of like. How could it even be better, right? Maybe it's a salon that you go to. What would be another option that, maybe they now start offering you coffee or certain snacks when you come in. I don't know, because you go in at lunchtime to the salon, right? And it would be nice if they had those types of things, or certain music that they play, or whatever it might be. So think about how you could add to the features of the product and the benefits, right? And make that a stronger product. So that is your discussion. Again, if you chime in to anyone else's discussion, make sure that you're using respectful and inclusive language. But this is, education is not always grueling. I mean, it is somewhat grueling, but it's also supposed to be fun and allow you to reflect on some of the things in your own life, right? And so as we go through this course and other courses, sometimes we'll get to do that. So that is your discussion question for this week. And it is now visible to students. Okay, and so for this week, again, you have homework assignments, reading just like every other week, and we have a discussion this week. We have one more discussion coming up, right, for our PowerPoint. Now, circling back around to our project. So at the beginning of the semester, we each talked about a company, right, a publicly traded company. And I mentioned to you about how you might, some things you might want to talk about. So you're just going to look critically at a company, and there's not really wrong answers that you can give me, right? So if you're looking at Apple, you may want to give me, again, it's a 2 to 3 page paper. It's not super long, but I want you to do a little bit of a deep dive into your company, right? You're going to tell me the reasons it got started, how it got started, what was the need. And, I'm picking on Apple, right? I know Steve Jobs, he has been in many interviews where he said that, he kind of got roped into it, right? He had some different parts, and then he had some folks that wanted him to, it was like the 70s, and they were, people were working with chips and boards, but nobody really had a personal computer yet, right? Just those big ones in rooms. So you could talk a little bit about the history if you're doing Apple. You could also talk about some of their latest products, right? You might mention the history, but you might also talk about, their iPhone and their iPod and some of the things relating to those items. You may also talk about some of the things you think Apple doesn't do well, right? Or areas that they could do better. But I'm really looking for, some pricing input and thinking about, your company and where they market. Also, if there is anything in particular about the leadership of the company, right? When you're diving into the company, is there something they do in particular to make their employees and their customers happy in the end, right? Because happy employees, happy customers. And so Google, for instance, has its own little centralized city, right? We can get all sorts of things done as an employee. You go to work, they pick up your dry cleaning at work, they pick up your dog, they do all these different things, right? It's its own little community. Different vendors come in and try and sell you stuff so you don't actually have to go out shopping. So they want to make sure their employees are happy and while they're at work. So that's something particular about Google. I think Facebook has like casual dress day, or they did dress casual there. So if you like Facebook as your company, so any little tidbit that you could share with the rest of us, or that would make someone that had never heard of your company would be something you would want to share with them. All right, so refer back to the project paper, and I will touch base again a little later with this, maybe later this week. But start making sure your project is coming together. Now, one thing I didn't mention before, if you are looking for, I'd like you to have at least a couple references in there, so that you went to Forbes, Fortune magazine online, or you looked in the Wall Street Journal, or you found some bona fide sources. Now, the company is a bona fide source. So if you want to do Apple, the first place you would go would be apple.com, right? And you can go to a link. So you're going to want to find, typically in the bottom, it's going to say something about investor relations. That's the link you want to click, because it takes you over to talking about news, talking about the press releases, talking about things that are going on with Apple, new things that might be taking place in the future. things that they've overcome recently, some philanthropic things that Apple might be doing, giving free laptops to, you know, countries that maybe don't have technology, things like that. So all of those things are really important because they frame your company, right? But in that as well, you can look under something called a annual report. So it'll be a 10K or an annual report. And in the financials, it's like 120, usually 100 to 120 page document that a publicly traded company has to push out there for all of their investors. So if you have one share of Apple, you will get emailed a PDF of the annual report, and it has to be visible, right? So the thing about the publicly traded company, they have to follow the rules of the SEC, Securities and Exchange Commission, when they are publishing information. Now, do they want to publish as little as possible? Absolutely, because guess who else can see it? Their competitors, right? So if I'm Apple and I have all these plans for all these fancy new products, who do I not want to know about those? Competitors, right? And so anyway, go to Apple, see what you can find if you're going to your company in that annual report. The annual report will talk about all sorts of things. It's basically like a 100-page or 120-page version of what your paper will be. It'll talk a little bit about the different markets that Apple competes in, some of the product development items, some of the things maybe that didn't go well, some of the plans for the future, if they are having increasing revenues from last year and the year before and so on. So you want to see increasing revenues, not flat, not going down, right? Increasing. Some of the hurdles that Apple is either currently overcoming or is looking to the future that they will have to overcome, right? Some new things that are being put into place. So that's all in that annual report. So if you're having trouble finding the annual report for your company, let me know. Reach out, text me, and I'll see if I can find an exact link to send to you for your company. Email me any of those items. We can meet via Collaborate or via Zoom as well if you're interested. All right, so happy 4th of July. That was yesterday, right? I know a couple of you are still turning in homework, and in hindsight, I probably should have given you an extra day or two to turn in homework. So if you are late on homework because I did not do that ahead of time, please get that in as soon as possible, but you will not be docked any points for if you didn't get it into me last night, because I was not checking homework last night. Anyway, so everyone have a wonderful week. I hope your summer is going well, and we are heavily into the course and now coming around the back stretch, right? So just a couple more weeks left, and then you will be back to your summer, right? So you have a wonderful day, and I will talk to you all soon.